Hey, I'm Lex.
And I'm Gibby, and welcome to another episode of Porch Swing People.
Each week we bring on a guest to talk about whatever they want to talk about. Sometimes they tell us about their past, what's going on in their current life, or their hopes or aspirations for the future. It's just for fun, and we would love to have you as a guest. So if you've been wondering about being on Porch Swing People, the only question is, why haven't you been? Reach out to us, right, Gibby?
Yes, please, do it. It's fun.
Gibby, can you tell us about our guest today?
Yes, I will. Our next guest, his name is Homer. I'm actually more friends with his younger brother. I was always in awe of Homer, the older brother. He was a guy that you would look up to, always seemed to have it together, and in high school, and of course, big jock. He was just that guy. And anyhow,
The role model.
the role model, yeah. And I haven't spoken to him in honestly probably 30 years, 40 years.
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't know Homer very well. I just remember when he was, yeah. So I'm excited about this. He agreed to be on with us. So
Very cool.
yeah, well, let's bring Homer on.
Copy that.
Good
Hey,
afternoon.
Homer. Good morning.
Hey,
Good
Gibby, Lex, how are
Time
you?
zones. Good.
Yeah, time zones, yeah.
Great to be here. Yeah, it's afternoon here in Pennsylvania.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that you were in Pennsylvania. Wow.
Yep. Suburban Philadelphia.
Very
Oh,
cool.
you're our
Yep.
first Pennsylvanian, by the way.
You're my first podcast, so how's that?
Yay. That's cool.
That's a lot of pressure.
Well, hopefully we set the bar for you, at least for any ones that are going to be in the future.
Maybe. Homer
Thank
will
you
go
so
on
much.
to be Homer will be on a real podcast one day, and he'll be like, "What were Lex and Gibby doing?" they're just
No, I'm
messing
just here
around,
to
having
have
fun.
Just
Yeah,
three
exactly.
friends talking. Yeah.
Just
Thanks so much
catching
for
up
joining
with.
us.
Yep.
Homer, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, I'm friends with your dad. Gosh, we go back to the, I'm going to say, late 70s,
Mhm.
right? And
Late 70s.
yeah, late 70s. Great time, by the way.
I was just about to say, what a wonderful, it's so much simpler.
The period of time, yeah, was something
Yeah.
else. And there's the music that sometimes comes on that takes me back to those kind of carefree summers from the 70s,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
it was kind of magical, thinking back. And despite, some of the issues that might have been going on culturally and around us, we were kind of in our own little world where we were living, and it was great. So many good friends and memories.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a small community,
Yeah.
and obviously the world was much smaller then because of the communication. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And it was,
Yeah.
we didn't have the things we had now, obviously. Wonderful.
But I've given away my my age more or less. I'm near retirement age, and like Gibby, like yourself, and so it's been quite a journey. It's been quite a journey as I reflect back, and I'm the proud father of four young adults today, happily married to a wonderful young lady, and she's still young lady to me, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Shout out to your family.
Exactly. Everyone's doing great, and in a very satisfying role in my career. So,
And what's your career?
well, I am a type of strategic advisor of sorts. I'm in analytics for a very large healthcare company, and so there's plenty of opportunity to help others in my role, and that's very satisfying to me.
Yeah.
Not only helping individuals I work with, but in a broader sense, the work that I'm a part of helps ultimately patients,
Mhm.
not only in the U.S. but at times around the world. So
Very cool.
yeah, so it's pretty satisfying. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would say.
The one thing I heard you say that really, gives me a tickle is what a journey. you enjoyed your journey up to this point, which is awesome.
Yeah. Wow. It's really to stop and think back, you know, everyone can see where we are today, right? Whatever setting you are, and people maybe can be judgmental about each other, right or wrong. No one realizes where everyone started from.
Yeah.
You know, like the journey that got us all here in the same place can be very different for every single person on that team, let's say, or
Absolutely.
in your neighborhood, or whatever it is.
Economic status, you name it.
Oh, yeah.
Literally everything, yeah.
So that's something that's not top of mind for me all the time, but in quiet moments, reflecting back, something that's I can take pride in, and just marvel at the way things turned out, right?
That's awesome.
So, and there's plenty of journey left to go. So who knows?
There you go.
What
keep
what the
moving.
future will hold.
We just said that. You got to keep moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Homer, can you tell us about a small act of kindness that you experienced that has had an influence on you?
Yeah, this is one that I think about periodically, and in fact, at times I'll share. Not a lot of people have heard this, but I share it because of the impact it had on my journey. Speaking of journeys, so I'll take you back to college days, and I was walking to campus with a friend of mine. Beautiful day, and he commented to me, "Can we stop by the student union? I want to say hello to my dad." That was surprising because we're on a college campus, and my friend's from the Chicago area, and so yeah, absolutely, let's go. We go to the student union, and my friend tracks down his dad, nicely dressed suit, and he's with another guy, some colleague. Introduces his dad to me and the other gentleman, but he goes off and spends 15 minutes or so catching up with his dad, and so I'm left there with the other person, right? So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do some small talk with this guy, and wait for Pat, my friend. So I'm pretty sociable, and this person was as well, and we got to talking, and you can just sense when you're connecting with someone, and the person much older than me. I mean, this is an adult man. I'm a college student. I think I was in my sophomore year. It's 1980, I think. And he's asking me initially some of the kind of basic, what he's studying, how are you doing? And I was upfront with him. I was struggling a little bit in the major I was in. He took a further interest in that, and he's asking me, so I'm sharing with him some of my skill sets, some of my background and interests, and he's encouraging me now to where to go with what I'm doing. And I had been thinking about switching to the business school at my university. So he starts going down that track, and this gentleman in that 15-minute time period convinced me that I should switch over to the business school and take the credits that would transfer over with me, as I wouldn't be able to transfer others, but just go for it. And he was super encouraging and was real excited for me. And I'm like, oh, okay. At that time, my friend shows up. He was done catching up with his dad, who was busy, along with this gentleman. I thanked him and everything. We walk away, and we're now back heading to class. And I asked him, what's your dad doing here? Middle of the week, it's not parents' weekend. Wasn't parents' weekend or anything like that. And he says, oh, my dad's with the Secret Service. Couldn't believe it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, he's here protecting the other person who he told me, his name didn't ring a bell or anything. And turns out the other person was the director of the CIA. Well,
What?
that didn't mean too
Yeah.
much to me either, because
Yeah.
I didn't know who the director of the CIA was.
Right.
Probably most people listening today couldn't tell you the name of the director of the CIA. And back
Was
then,
it
before
Bush?
social media, what's that?
It wasn't Bush, was it?
It was George
You
Bush.
got to be kidding.
George
Wow.
Herbert Walker Bush. I spent 15 minutes with him. It turns out he's running for vice president, and he was on campus to do some kind of a speech or some kind of fundraising. I don't know, but it didn't click on me who I was talking to at all. Even
Wow.
afterward, when Pat was explaining to me, I had no idea. But the point is, that was something that changed the trajectory of my life, really.
Yeah.
Going from a struggling situation in a particular major to what I was able to do and accomplish in a different area, which I was already thinking about, but this person, really influenced me in a way that encouraged me to do well there, and gave me the sense that I could do well there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What an awesome story.
right.
Mhm.
In large
Yeah.
part where I ended up, and I can't express to you the level of business that I'm involved in. It's a very high level, and with an opportunity to help many people. Nonetheless, it's a business, right? And
Yeah.
had I not been set on that course, I might not have been in a position to help as many people as I feel I have.
That's an incredible story.
That is very cool. Hey, so we know that you love your job, and there's a lot of high pressure to that. Tell us, give us some advice on how you tackle problem solving.
Well, I think the biggest part of problem solving is actually understanding what the problem is, understanding the root cause of what the problem might be, which is a very difficult part of what I do, and that is understanding why.
Mhm.
Okay, we know the situation, but why is that happening?
Which could be very complicated.
Yeah, Gibby, I was remiss earlier. I want to thank you for your service, first of all, but secondly, make some parallels here, because it's not unlike, we're in a battleground,
Mhm.
and in our case we have competitors, we have obstacles or barriers, and it's not necessarily competitors, because they can be actually the synergy we create out there could be beneficial for patients, but policy, etc., that have to be overcome. So they present issues, and
Mhm.
I think I just want to break it down and say that understanding the underlying issue is the first thing. The next
Mhm.
thing is now making a plan, given the resources you have, to address that problem.
Mhm.
But this could be, not just business, but even in your own personal life,
Everything.
Anything. Yeah.
right? Understanding the problem. I think making a plan to address the problem, then executing against that plan,
Mhm.
right? And being very diligent about measuring how you're executing against that plan, right? So you
Mhm.
understand whether it's working or not, and you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
adjust. If you make adjustments, I think ultimately you're able to address problems. So staying flexible, following the plan, executing it, I think for me are the key kind of messages I'd like to share about that.
Great messages.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Omer. Your teams, are they super large or sometimes super small?
And this is a relatively small team, less than 10 people,
Mhm.
but we work together to call it business intelligence, call it, what we call it is deriving insights to share with our senior leadership so they can make the best possible decisions,
Sure.
Mhm.
right? And when we own those decisions with them, I have certain strengths, and I know those strengths, and I continue to work to develop my strengths. I also, importantly, know my weaknesses, right? I spend no time developing my weaknesses, and that's part of something I like to share is ask people to consider not spending time developing your weaknesses. Now, you want to guard against them and make sure they don't hurt you, right?
Yeah.
And how you do that is you surround yourself with the people who are strong in those areas that you're weak at.
Uh-huh.
So that's essentially what I do.
No, that's brilliant.
I understand my strengths, and I just continue to work on my strengths. And I may be good at something, but I become great at something. I strive to anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If you're good at something, I'll recognize that, and I'll help you get great at that. But I also recognize what you're not good at, and I'll connect you with a person who's great at that weakness that you have. And then when you connect people like that, you get this the synergistic effect, right? This like 2 plus
like
2
harmony.
equals 5.
Yeah.
And that's at least what I do at work. And by the way, you don't have to be in an assigned leadership role, right? You don't have to be the, captain of the team. You can lead at any level. People just are people. If you're on a mission and everybody's aligned to that mission and understands each other's strengths and weaknesses, then you can cover for the other person.
That's a serious trusted art you're talking about right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Homer, what is something your past self would feel proud about your current self?
I mentioned journey earlier, and as I look back, I think what I'm proudest of is where I am based on where I started. So believe it or not, I didn't speak English growing up. So we spoke Spanish at home, and my parents are immigrants. We grew up in inner city Chicago, not the Chicago of today, where we grew up at the time. Although it's hip today, it was hurting. It was hurting bad. There's a lot of gang activity, drug activity, and but I think back and haven't survived that, right? Haven't gotten out of that situation, and I was a kid. So when I say that, haven't survived that, I'm speaking of the whole of our family. My parents getting us out of that situation. But while we were in it, we were surviving it. We were, that was our first exposure to having to become street smart and having to encounter different types of people and how you act with different types of people to be able to survive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sub stories to all that, but
as such a young kid, goodness.
Yeah, coming from a poor upbringing, in a climate that was challenging, right? An environment that was challenging, not even speaking the language initially, and then learning the language and helping to teach my parents to speak the language. And Gibby, you've met my parents. You've heard the broken English, right? Bottom line, like many immigrant families, our parents wanted us to do better than they had, right? The reason they came here is for opportunity's sake, right? To work hard, because this was a place where if you come here, and because of the environment today, I'll just say my parents came here legally, but set up shop in the best way they could, having no resources really, other than a small community at the time of Hispanics and who had to rely on each other. To go from there to where my brothers and I are today, it's just an amazing,
in such a short amount of time. Yeah.
From one generation. Yeah, exactly. One generation. Generation. And I'm not saying we're all that, but relatively speaking,
you could have easily become statistics in downtown
exactly.
Chicago.
Well, yeah, I have friends I was growing up with that did become statistics. So, unfortunately, yeah.
Let me ask you this: when you found out you were leaving Chicago area and moving to small town K town,
having grown up in the inner city, it's all we knew. So, and by the way, you may not be aware, Gibby, but we went from the interstate Chicago to suburban Kansas City.
Oh, I did. Now I do
first.
remember that. Yep.
And then suburban Kansas City to Iowa. Rural,
Mhm.
I'll call it rural Iowa, small town Iowa.
Comparatively.
Now, from it's interesting because we were involved in sports, right?
Yep.
Growing up, and it was interesting coming from these massive high schools where the opportunity was slim, because it was so competitive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To the small town situation where suddenly, you're playing at a varsity level across multiple sports, and so that was pretty cool. Like I'll chalk that up to small town living.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
For
you
sure.
know
That
what?
was
With
that
that,
was
though,
great.
you got to step up and be the person that you needed to be or wanted
Yeah.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that allowed for some things to happen. To your point, right?
Mhm.
So now I was more so in a team environment, being exposed to perhaps opportunities I hadn't been before, and coaching and mentoring that I might not have had in the past, right? So I
Mhm.
benefited from that, from going to someone who maybe could have been lost in a huge environment, school wise, right?
Yeah.
And those are difficult years anyway, socially, right?
Oh my
Those
gosh.
teen years,
Yeah.
high school years, because social was also a part of this growth that happened. I'll speak for my brothers. I think, so I think they would agree. Like something happened because when we came to that smaller town environment, we flourished. We went from little fish in a very large pond to big fish in a small pond, baby.
Yep. You
And
did.
now-
That's a great way of putting that.
and so there was so much opportunity to learn now because of that. And I don't want to oversell it, but it did.
I mean,
it
but
did
it's
lead.
also circumstantial. Like that's not necessarily the case for every big city area or small rural area. Those are just your experiences with the places that you were at
Yeah,
the time
yeah.
period.
Those exposures, those experiences is what gave at least me kind of the courage to move forward and like end up speaking with someone like George
Bush.
Herbert
Yeah.
Walker Bush, right? And end up working in a major healthcare company and being a part of big time business decisions. So
Very cool.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you put it like that, just the blocks that fall into place to make everything happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone back to the word journey so many times. What I wanted to ask was if you could go back to any part of your life, to your younger self, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
I would advise my younger self to pay more attention to finances, and the reason is the time value of money is so critical, right? I don't have a lot of years left to take advantage of opportunities, relatively speaking, right? I think I have a lot of years left.
You got a lot of
it's
years
just like
left.
relatively speaking. And so, oh man, if I knew then what I know today
Yeah.
about finance, about investing, the things I would have done differently, I can't even begin to tell you. I think that is what I would advise my younger self is how to save money. And there's three concepts that I like to think about that I share with my kids, and that's how to make more money, especially today. Oh my God, given all the opportunities today, from a tech
Yeah.
standpoint, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All the side hustles you could potentially have today. And then step two, how to keep more money.
Yep.
That's critically important. It's
Yeah.
not just about, because you
Making
could
it.
make a lot less than somebody else and have a lot more money than they do,
Yeah.
So
right?
true.
Because you know how to keep more of it,
Yeah.
right? So how do you make more? How do you keep more? And then the third piece is how do you grow more? Like how do you get your money to grow more
Mhm.
money and get that money working for you all
Working
the time?
for you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still learning. And that's what, talk about moving forward in the future, I'm always studying.
Well, that's a good segue into this next question. I mean, with a vast number of years you still have ahead of you and all the fun.
Yeah.
Tell us, what are you excited? What is something you're excited to learn about in the future?
Well, I've already begun, and there's a lot more work for me to do. But artificial intelligence, everything about AI. I'm trying to understand from a couple of different angles, like how can it help me in my work, help others? Like how can I leverage AI in my work, not only to become more efficient in how I work, but to help others, right? So one example there, where I work, we're often receiving or have exposure to large files, large studies, right? It could be in PDF form or PowerPoint form or a Word document. And it takes forever to read through everything and understand what it is, the takeaway, absorb it. Yeah. Now I can just load it in my AI tool and ask it to give me a high-level summary of everything. So that's one example. There's a old saying, even from when I was coming up, knowledge is power.
That's what came to my head too. Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah. The individuals who are knowledgeable have the best opportunities because they can take advantage of that knowledge earlier than the general population.
I could go out on a limb and guess what the answer to this next question is, but if you had one message to share with the young people today, what would that be?
I would say one message to help others. Ultimately, you learn a lot from helping others. It makes you a better person. It makes you stronger in your strength areas. Teaching, right? Helping, teaching.
Yeah.
Maybe not in a formal way.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to get paid to teach you.
Yeah.
But there's absolutely no downside in helping a neighbor or a stranger or a colleague or obviously your kids or even in my case still my dad with something that could help them in their lives and or in their work, at school, whatever it is, in their invest in their finances, let's say.
Or who knows, maybe just simply taking interest in somebody like George Sr. did.
Exactly. Look at that. Yeah, full circle. And maybe that was an example to me that stuck with me, that it was so impactful that I want to do that, impact others, So I feel like I have in my life impacted many, many, many people. Not because I'm setting out to impact someone. Okay, who am I going to impact today? No.
Right? We don't go that.
No. Where the opportunity is just there, it just presents itself.
Yeah.
Then you just spend time with the person and help them understand something. And then ultimately, they have to act on it or they don't. It's up to them ultimately.
Yeah.
But
here's some free advice. What are you going to do? Yeah,
that's what I guess I would say is to that question is, was that the question? What would I?
The message you would have for young people. You said, help each other. Do what you can.
Help each other.
I think that's great advice.
Exactly.
We need people to help each other more.
We do have one more question that we passed. I want to come back to make sure that we get your answer on this. It is to tell us about an incident or an event from your past that still feels surreal to you today.
Yeah. You're gonna go there, huh? It's I'm gonna go back to after college, but before I met my wife. So I'm a single guy. I'm in my early to mid 20s, right? And have a great group of friends in the Dallas area where my professional journey started. And it must have been spring break or something. We took a trip, guys and gals, down to beautiful South Padre Island, Texas. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah.
Way down in the Gulf, right? Down in the Rio Grande Valley. And we're at the beach, and it's one of those cool situations. You got the two condos, all the guys in one, all the gals in the other, but all friends and just socializing and on the beach, having
Yeah.
fun, good times. And then, so I'm on the beach. The It's getting late in the day. The crowd, typically very crowded, but now end of the day, right? Everyone's left the beach pretty much, wanting to get cleaned up, get ready to go out to dinner, and the dance clubs. Back then, we used to dance, Lex. I don't know if you.
People still do that.
Yeah. Do they? Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've been in a club, so I don't know.
Yeah. Back then, these clubs were dance clubs, and so we were getting ready to go have some fun dancing and as a group, but there was still some stragglers on the beach, right? So I'm one of them, and there's this young lady friend with our group wanted to go in one more time and get all the sand off, that kind of thing, right? As we're kind of folding up chairs and umbrellas and stuff, and but by this time lifeguards were already gone, right? And the sun's starting to set behind the big beautiful condominiums and resort hotels. She dives in, and I'm looking over to just as I'm kind of clearing things up and packing. She starts to get pulled out a little bit, and but I can see she's still standing, and I might have yelled out, "Hey, come on, we got to go." And then I see this look on her face, right? This like that scary, panicky look.
I don't have control look.
Yeah, and I'm realizing she's in a rip current, and she's getting pulled out, right? And she's struggling to get back. And what are you gonna do? I go in there because I'm taller, significantly taller. And I'm like, okay, well, I can stand, and I'll just go in, reach over, and just pull her in, walk her in. And didn't really work out that way. I go in there, she sees me coming, and she's like super panicked now. She's
course,
like,
yeah,
and of course I'm getting pulled out with the riptide. Now I'm not panicking. I know I just have to, swim along pull her along, parallel to the shore, and then I'll be able to come in once I'm out of this riptide, right? Well, she wasn't clicking with me, So as I approach her, and for a while I was standing still, but the water was now up to my neck, right up to my chin. I could still feel the bottom, but then suddenly no bottom. Right now I'm swimming, and I don't feel anything below. So I swim over to her. You know what happens? She jumps on me,
right,
and starts pulling me under. Just kind of the classic situation. And of course, I was now starting to get concerned myself. I looked, I could hardly, with the waves and everything, I could hardly see the shore, the buildings, and I just feel like we're getting pulled out further. She's gonna drown me if I let her. Like, she's jumping on me, all scared and panicked, and I had to push her off. I just pushed her off. I pushed her away, and I had to kind of recompose myself and started make my way parallel to the shore and trying to encourage her to come toward me. But now at this point, I'm starting to get exhausted, as was she, right? So, and remember, there was hardly anyone left on the beach. I started to get really concerned. Then suddenly I could feel the bottom. I hit one of the, I guess underneath the beach,
a sandbar.
A little sandbar, enough where I could get on my toes, and I could rest a little bit and still encourage her to come over to me. But I was exhausted right at that point. And I'm looking around, nobody. I'm looking like next to me or toward the shore. I couldn't find anyone to yell out to. But you know what happened? I look out deeper than us, further out, and there were two guys further out. And I just yelled out, help, and pointed to her. I'm like, help, and I'm like gesturing with my arm that she's in trouble, right? Because I didn't feel like I could help her physically anymore. I was trying to encourage her, but not, it's like I could barely at that point physically help myself. These guys, they were like, it was like they were Olympic athletes or something, like they like were so far out. It seemed like from the neck high water, right?
Yeah.
And they swam in so quickly. And then one of them was outside of her, grabbed her by the arm. And she was close enough where I could kind of grab her as well. So one of the guys had her, I had her, and then the other guy had me by the other arm. And those two guys essentially walked us both in to the beach, right? And we just were exhausted. We just sat on the beach. She's crying. I'm facing her. These guys kind of let us in, dropped us off, and I'm catching my breath. I turn around to, just thank them, bro hug them, something, right? Offer maybe to buy him dinner.
Yeah.
There's nobody there. I turn around, there's nobody. I looked up the beach to the north, to the south. There was nobody even close to us. There was hardly anybody on the beach. And there was nobody back out, swimming out in the ocean. I didn't know what had just happened. I was speechless. Again, to answer your question, it was surreal. And I was raised Catholic, and my mom was a strong, very, very strong in her faith, and as a result, we were as well. And all I can chalk that up to is I have two guardian angels somewhere.
Yeah, that swim really quick.
They're good swimmers.
They're men, and they're massive, and they're awesome swimmers. I don't know, but these two young guys, big guys, very athletic, swim in, walk us in, store against. There was this rip current. I don't know that we were out of it. I mean, I was trying to get out of it. We almost kind of fell to the beach where they kind of left us. And I'm consoling her a little bit. She's crying. I turn around to thank them, and there's just nobody there. So yeah.
Wow. I mean, this is a speechless type of what? Yeah. How do you even? And your friend saw them too.
I didn't know if she did. I don't know if she thinks I just pulled her in. I was so confused and kind of taken aback. It was so surreal for me.
Completely.
That I didn't mention it. And she was so shaken up. She was so distraught, scared still, literally trembling, maybe from exhaustion, but also
and adrenaline.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. And crying. I'm trying to get her to stop crying, and just kind of move on with the spring break thing. And I just never brought it up. It didn't feel like it was something she wanted to discuss, so I kept it to myself for many, many, many years.
Wow.
I never shared that for a long time, but yeah.
Well, thank you.
Interesting question, but that's what came to mind is something surreal that happened to me that for me tops my list, and it also strengthened my faith and maybe continue to give me courage in my journey, right? Knowing that, hey, I'm surrounded by another good.
Yeah, you're not alone.
I'm not alone. and so I can move forward and with some level of I don't know, confidence or reassurance that everything's going to be okay.
I love this story, but I do love the beginning when you naively were like, I'm just going to walk in and get her and pull her out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, again, I was in my early to mid 20s, right? We're like indestructible at that age.
Yeah.
Right, Gibby?
Yeah. I still
Yeah.
don't know sometimes that's not the case. But
And for anyone listening, please don't rely on your guardian angels to save you. Do what Homer
No.
said. Try to swim parallel to the beach to get out of the rip current, and then make your way in. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, then easily
Yeah.
just the waves probably push you in at that point. But
Yeah.
You would hope.
yeah, yeah. So I knew what was happening.
Yeah.
It's just like what ended up happening was mind blowing. It was like,
Oh my goodness.
but
Yes.
yeah, I just couldn't
Wow.
rationalize it any other way. But it's just right
Yeah.
there. I still get emotional about it because when I think about it, it's so like, I'm reliving it. It's like right
Yeah.
there.
I mean, that could have been
Well,
it.
For you listeners, if you're exhausted and you find yourself in that situation, obviously do the best you can. Get on your back and relax
Float.
and catch your breath.
Yeah.
That's what I was taught to do. Is if you're exhausted, get to your back, let it ride it out, and then as both Homer and Lex said, go parallel to the beach. You're not going to swim into the riptide.
No.
You need to get outside of it, and then you make your way in. But it's so important not to overdo yourself and exhaust yourself. Get to your back and let it ride it.
Yeah, I just realized I'm talking to a Navy SEAL here, right?
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
I'm like, oh my God, I just embarrassed myself.
No.
in front of a Navy
you
SEAL.
You did it all.
Oh, you did brilliantly.
Yes.
You know,
But-
I had once. Unfortunately, it wasn't big, strong Olympic swimmers, but we were doing this swim. It was a 4-mile swim. We were doing a 3 or 4 mile swim, and they just took us out in the middle of the ocean, off the coast, dropped you off, and said, begin. And we've done this dozens of times, so not a big deal. What you do is you pick a light, and you just start swimming toward a light.
Mm-hmm.
And they dropped us off in the dark, probably about 5 a.m. And as we're swimming, the light is coming out, sunrise. And like I said, with dozens of times of doing this. But this particular time was a little bit weird, is we had seagulls flying over us, 3 or 4 of them out of all, and there's a bunch of, we swim in pairs. So I was looking around and I'm like, why are these seagulls over us? That's weird. And I'm trying to put it out of my mind, but it's not going to go out of my mind. And then I look around, and it's around there's 3 or 4 seagulls over all of the swimmers. And I hit my swim buddy. I was like, dude, sharks in there. He goes, what? I'm like, I think we got sharks. And he goes, why would you say that? I'm like, look, man, the birds are right above us. And he
They're
goes,
waiting.
and no longer did he stop, and he looked up, and then the boat started pulling everybody out of the water because there's sharks in the water. And so whether the seagulls were a guardian angel or they're just waiting for chum when the sharks were done, I don't know.
Do you think
Either way.
did the seagulls signal to the boat to come get you guys? They saw them and they're like, oh boy, we need to get them. What else how else did they know that the sharks were there?
Unless they seen a dorsal fin, that would have been the only thing. But it was
like another needle in a haystack.
Yeah. As soon as I seen those seagulls, I was like, something's going on. This is weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They're waiting for leftovers.
Waiting for leftovers. I'm going to go with they were guardian angels.
You're like, where's those Olympic swimmers at right now? Goodness.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. They were set there to protect you in a way.
Man, I am so happy that Lex circled around and remembered to grab that question, because that was really a great story.
Yeah, I'm not going to forget about it. Homer, thanks again for your time today. This has been such a joy to hear your experiences and your journey and what you have learned. And we just appreciate so much that you were willing to come onto the podcast and share that with us and our listeners.
Well, it was great fun. I really enjoyed it. So it's my pleasure.
I really appreciate you agreeing to come on with us. And it's been such a long time.
Yeah.
I bump into your bro. He came out and
Sure.
went fishing with us and
That's
camping
great.
with me last year.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, we really appreciate you
Yeah. Hey,
joining
look,
us.
Gibby, if I didn't say it earlier, thank you for your service. I want you to know that, we knew that you were in harm's way, and we were all praying for you back
It's
in the
very
day.
kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, sir, thank you very much. And I wish you well in the rest of your endeavors and your learning.
Likewise, great spending time with you, Lex. Great
too.
meeting you, and
Yeah.
good luck to you and helping others as you do. Sounds like on a daily basis. That's awesome.
Oh,
And
thanks, Homer.
Gibby, look
You
forward
too.
to hearing great stories from my brother about you.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Yikes. We're still kind of honoring for old men, which is interesting.
I would say.
So.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you soon, Homer. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
Homer.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Well, as always, that time went very quick, and it was fun to talk and catch up with an old friend.
Yeah. You said it's been a long time.
A super long time. And, honestly, I don't even know Homer.
So you didn't really know you didn't know anything that he was going to bring onto the podcast.
Nothing. I used to sneak over and get to sleep at their house occasionally, specifically on, I don't know if we mentioned this on Saturday night, so I could have Sunday morning breakfast. His father would say, Gibby, why are you always here Sunday morning? It was because of the breakfast, but anyhow, and his mom and dad were just so sweet folks. So anyhow, yeah, I didn't know Homer though at all.
So let me hear about what you learned.
Okay, what I heard and what I learned. I think I had mentioned the expectations in their family. It wasn't something it was something I observed, and all of them, they, and then you found out, I didn't know, that he had to be the interpreter at a very young age.
Something that we talked about after we paused our recording for the listeners.
I didn't know that. So you missed out on a very interesting conversation. He was a first generation family from Mexico, and he was the first one to speak English. Homer was the first one to speak English, so he had to help his mom and dad learn, not to mention his younger brothers. Back to the story of challenges and perseverance, and look where Homer's at now.
I loved hearing his background and his journey, that word that we kept using. And I also want to say that it's not an isolated story. There are so many kids here right now in the present, back when he was a kid and before, that had to be the grown-up and help with finances and help with interpreting and help with understanding current events for their parents who didn't speak English.
Yeah.
And my takeaway, one of my many takeaways from our conversation with Homer, is to not apply a judgment to somebody when you have no idea what their lifespan has looked like, what their parents' lifespan has looked like, how they got to be at the current place in time that you know that person. You only know a glimpse.
Yeah. I especially like the last question that you circled back around, the guardian angels. I was not prepared for that one.
No, I had no idea where the story was going. I was thinking it was going to end up with dolphins or something that they rode to shore. Yeah, but as soon as he brought up the people and seeing them, I had a feeling that something was up.
I must be too thick, because I was like, dudes are swimming, must be, tough. What a wonderful story, and obviously it a huge impact in his life.
I love how our guests have come onto the podcast and laid things out for us in a way that feels so simple, even though that is the culmination of years of experience and learning. For example, with Homer laying out a map of how to solve a problem and use a team approach to solve it. Our opportunity to have guests come on and map out life, I just feel super lucky about. Yeah?
Yeah, we are lucky. I think that's another wrap up of a Porch Swing People episode.
Porch Swing People out.
Porch Swing People is recorded and produced by Lex and Gibby. Opening music was written and produced by Michael Gibson. Porch Swing People is a podcast featuring everyday people. If interested in being a guest, email us at porchswingpeeps@gmail.com.